It's time for Slow TV Radio.
What?
Welcome to Round the Table from the Meeting Point English. Broadcasting not only to Bilbao but throughout the world. Hello, Soa.
Hello, Richard. How are you this week?
I'm very well, thank you very much. And you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
So, what's the topic this week then, Richard?
Well, this week we've been talking about loyalty.
Oh.
And one of the things we were talking about was multi-millionaires and big international companies putting their money into tax havens. And that is the word haven. A lot of people thought I made a spelling mistake and it was heaven, because sort of a translation of the fiscal paradise phrase that you use in Spanish.
Yeah, we guess it's like a heaven for them.
Yeah, but it's haven, which is a bit like sanctuary, because you can use it in the sense of, like that nature reserve in Gipuzkoa, you could say that's a haven for wildlife.
So they are kind of related though, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know if they're etymologically related. I'm not sure if heaven and haven come from the same thing. So we were talking about these rich people and how terrible it is that they don't pay taxes in the country.
Well,
because they have found, or their financial advisors find, a tax loophole. And a loophole is like a hole in the law. A loophole originally, I don't know why there's a connection here, but a loophole is one of those little narrow windows in a castle that you fire arrows at attackers. They're called loopholes as well. I can't quite see the connection. But that, these financial experts can navigate through the labyrinth of tax law. And they find a way that you can legally not pay taxes.
But, well, they pay taxes, but in another country.
Yeah, and very low taxes, yes. So they only pay a small percentage. And it's all completely legal, and we think it's terrible. The general consensus of opinion was it's a terrible thing unless you're a millionaire. And I think most people, if they became millionaires, would probably take advantage of the same system.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you've got someone telling you that you can do it, and it's not illegal, so why not?
Well, the people in power that could change the system are also the people who have their money in offshore bank accounts. So the system is not going to change.
Well, no. For me, it's even worse that politicians who are responsible for the country do it.
Yeah, and the monarchy.
And the monarchy,
We'll come back to them later. They do appear later in the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, politicians and monarchy. Yeah, they'll come back.
Okay.
Another thing we were talking about was company loyalty and customer loyalty. So your loyalty to your place of work and your loyalty to local shops. And we discovered that most people have more loyalty for their local bar than the place they actually work.
Well, I can believe that, yeah.
Because most people say if another company offered me €1 an hour more, I'd leave.
Yeah.
So we got no company loyalty here. I don't know if in other countries there's more. What do you think? Do you think there's more loyalty to the company in other countries?
I think maybe it was more common in the past, where people started in one company and they died there.
Yeah.
And nowadays...
But do you think that was because the company had more loyalty to the workers as well?
Well, I think it went both ways, yeah.
A reciprocal arrangement.
Yeah. Yeah. I think companies don't realize that if you have a good worker, you should look after himself.
Yeah. But we weren't impressed with company loyalty anyway.
And then another thing, talking about business, like it's funny when you've been in the same company for years, like I'm talking about telephone, internet and all those. And they do really good offers for new clients, and if you've been there forever and you phone them and say, can I have the offer? They say no. Then you move because...
Oh, yeah.
How do you...
So their main interest is getting the new customers.
Yeah.
And they don't have any... There's no advantage to staying for a long time.
Yeah, so they don't promote loyalty, really.
No.
Because then people keep moving from one to another every year.
Yeah, that's why I don't know what telephone company we're with or where the internet comes from. Yeah, anyway, so then we were talking about harbouring criminals.
Oh.
Harbouring is an interesting word. So harbour, the verb harbour is the same as the noun harbour. Harbour is like a little port.
Yeah.
So one of the things we were discussing was ports and harbours. I think a port, if I imagine a port, they're quite big and modern, and they have lots of those containers going in and out on big ships.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a port is more like the doorway, as it would translate. Port is the door into and out of a country. So things are moving in and out through a port. Whereas a harbour is to protect. Harbour means to protect. So when I think of harbours, I imagine a little old-fashioned one with little fishing boats and a big wall to protect the boats from the sea and the storms.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we have harbouring a criminal is when a criminal is in your house and you tell the police you don't know where he is, that kind of thing. And yes, whether we would protect a criminal if it were your brother, for example, someone close to you. Most of the time we decided that no, people wouldn't. We'd try to persuade someone to turn themselves in. A phrasal verb, especially for talking to criminals. Turn somebody in is to take them to the police, basically. Oh. So you would tell your brother, if he was a criminal, to turn himself in. So that's a phrasal verb. And come clean is another expression. Come clean means to confess. And we also had the phrase on the run, came up in the conversation. If you are an escaped criminal or somebody that the police is looking for, you are on the run.
Uh-huh.
And another very strange one is at large. They say the criminal is at large, meaning he's out there in society, amongst the public.
Okay.
It's a very odd phrase, isn't it?
Very good.
To be at large. Yeah, so most of us, we don't really want to harbour criminals.
Just in case.
Yeah, it would have to be someone who's a very close relative, but then we realised that if your brother was on the run from the police, they would probably come to your house anyway and ask. And we don't have many places for concealing people in a flat in Bilbao. We don't have those bookcases that slide across, with a concealed room behind or anything like that, like in some ancient castle. Then we went on to having affairs.
Oh.
And would you tell, if a friend were having an affair, would you tell his partner? Oh. Most people said no to that one.
Well, no, because it's your friend, the one having an affair. So,
yeah,
I think he should tell his partner or her partner.
Well, we went through various options. If your friend was having the affair, would you tell his partner? If his partner was having the affair, would you tell your friend?
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
I did that once.
Did you?
But a long time ago with a friend of us. And she wouldn't believe us, so... So, okay, fair enough.
Oh, right, that's okay.
She didn't like that at all. But we thought we had to tell her.
So most people decided that it's best not to get involved.
Yeah,
really,
agree.
We weren't really into getting involved with that.
I agree.
So, which brought us on to a few expressions, really. So there's having an affair is when you have extramarital relationship, we can call it. There's having a fling, which is a similar thing, but it's a short-term one, maybe a couple of weeks.
Oh, I see.
A fling, yeah.
Oh.
And there's even shorter than a fling is a one-night stand. A one-night stand. That doesn't have to be extramarital. That could just be a very, very short relationship.
Well, if it's one night, it's very short.
Yeah. Well, as someone said, it could be shorter.
A couple of hours.
Oh, I was thinking less. Some people count them in minutes these days. Depends on your age and your capabilities. Anyway, some of the idiomatic expressions that came out of this conversation. So one thing that we were looking at was turn a blind eye. Yeah, you know, turn a blind eye.
I guess it's like ignoring, yeah?
Yeah. You just pretend you haven't seen something.
Yeah.
Turn a blind eye. And then similar, but not the same, but similar, let sleeping dogs lie. Another dog one. Let sleeping dogs lie. That's really when people have forgotten about something and there's no point in reminding them about something because it causes bad feelings.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. Does that explain it well?
Well, because, the dogs are asleep and you don't want to disturb them.
Yeah, you don't disturb a sleeping dog, no. And then we were talking also in loyalties, we were talking about supporting the underdog. And it's very common to support the underdog.
Is that like when everybody supports the weakest, yeah?
Yeah. So if you were talking football, well, it came from the conversation of loyalty to football teams. And when there's another team that's very big. So imagine Barcelona are playing Baracaldo, for example. People from Barcelona would support Barcelona, and the rest of Spain would support Baracaldo, because we like to see big teams losing.
Yeah.
So that's supporting the underdog. So the underdog is like the little dog in a fight between dogs, the little one that's lying on his back on the floor.
Yeah.
And someone asked me what the opposite was, and I couldn't think of it. But we do have top dog for the most dominant.
Okay.
In a group, who's the top dog?
Yeah.
So it's not exactly the opposite, but it is related. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we were talking about fair weather friends. Fair weather friends.
Yeah.
And they're the friends that are with you during the good times.
Yeah.
And then when things get difficult, you can't find them. They sort of disappear when you have problems.
Yeah.
And your real friends are there. Through thick and thin was the other expression, to be with you through thick and thin. So we discussed quite a few aspects of loyalty, but there were a few things that we missed out. For example, I didn't have in the book loyal pets, which is an interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if I were talking about loyal pets, what kind of pets would you think of?
Of a dog.
Yeah. I think they're the only ones, aren't they?
That's the one that comes to my mind.
But you do get stories of dogs saving people from drowning. They jump into the canal and save a child from drowning. Or even saving people from fires sometimes. Or they, when somebody dies and the dog sits by the grave, whining for their lost owner.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's only dogs, isn't it?
Yeah.
That have any loyalty to us. I can't imagine any cats. They don't have loyalty, do they?
No. Cats. I guess people who own cats think that they are very loyal as well.
Yeah. But your cat's not going to save you from a fire, is it?
No.
Or if you were drowning, your hamster wouldn't come. How many hamsters would you need?
Yeah.
You need quite a few to save you from drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so loyal pets tend to be dogs, but then they are kind of loyal. Yeah, but that's part of their mental makeup, isn't it? Because they're pack animals and they need a leader. They follow the leader, don't they?
Yeah.
And we were also talking party loyalty, as in political parties, not party like woohoo, not Fiesta party. We'll come back to that next video, I reckon, talking about parties. But loyalty to a political party.
Oh, now you mention that, yeah? That's interesting, because do you think being loyal is something rational or is it emotional?
Rational or emotional? I think it's both. I think it's one of those things that's in our evolutionary psychology. I quite like evolutionary psychology. I think a lot of our behaviour our emotions are based on rational things that come from our survival. Our survival instincts from the past.
But that's not rational, is it? Survival is more emotional.
It's rational, because if you don't survive, you don't get to pass on your genetics to the next generation if you die. All creatures want to live, don't they?
Yeah, but if you're gonna be attacked by a lion, you don't think what to do. You just run. Oh.
Yeah, but it's all built into it's all built in. Our behaviour is evolutionarily built into us by behaviours of many, many, many generations in the past. Yeah, those people that walk towards a lion and go, oh, look, he's a nice guy, I'm going to go and stroke the tiger. They're the ones that are eliminated from the gene pool. And the ones that run away survive to reproduce.
Yeah.
That's why we're afraid of lions and tigers and snakes and things like that. So, anyway, is it rational? Is it emotional? I think it's both in a way, because we are tribal people, and individually we're not that strong. If we were out, imagine our ancient ancestors. If they were wandering around trying to survive alone, they wouldn't last very long.
Yeah.
But as a group, the cooperation between humans is what made us survive. And in the past, when we were living in small tribal communities, everybody was related. So they say they shared a certain amount of genetic code amongst the group. Mm-hmm. So you it's in your interest to keep the people around you alive as well as yourself. So we look out for each other.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying this when we were talking about party loyalty, because I think people think that voting for a party is very rational. In fact, the day before the elections here is called Jornada de Reflexión.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can think about it.
Yeah.
But to me, it seems like it's not rational at all, because people from a party are from that party 100%, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think there are lots of things that have very ancient origins that are then sort of recycled and used in a modern context. But you could look at it as something that has its origins in our primitive past. So loyalty to the group. If you're talking tribal people living in small communities out in the wild, hunter-gatherers, looking after each other and being loyal to the group meant that together we would survive. But then now it's been transferred into football teams and political parties. But the inner emotion has its roots way back in something that actually had a useful function in the past.
Yeah, it's like that, yeah.
In the same way as now we have things like racism, but if you go back into our ancient ancestors, you can see where the origin came from, because it was safer to be suspicious of people that didn't look like you.
Yeah.
Because all your group of people you knew all looked kind of similar. And someone from another group, if you were very trusting and liked foreigners, you stood a greater chance of being eliminated from the gene pool than those that were distrustful.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the loyalty comes from. I think it's a very old thing.
Yeah.
And the loyalty between partners as well, having affairs and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's because, we're pair bonding primate.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look at certain primates and their behaviour, you can tell how strong their pair bond is by the difference in size between skeletons. If you look at marmosets, I think they're South American marmosets. They have monkeys in South America, I think.
I guess.
But the marmosets are, you can't tell the two apart. The male and female look very, very similar, at the same size and everything.
So they're very close.
They have a very close pair bonding system, and they both look after the young ones, and they have exactly a very equal rights thing going on. They both look after the children, they both gather food, they both do everything together, and they never separate. They always stick together. Whereas in other primates, like baboons, for example, the male baboon is massive compared to the female, and that's because they have a much more violent society, and the dominant baboon gets to have sex with all the females.
Yeah.
So over many millions of years, the biggest, strongest one gets to become the father. So the next generation has bigger, stronger males. So over millions of years, the males are like twice the size of the females.
Yeah.
Whereas in human societies, if you took two human skeletons, most people wouldn't really know the difference between male and female. But with a small amount of training, you could see it. Yeah. But it doesn't take a lot of training. But you can see that men are generally bigger than women.
Yeah.
And that's because even though we have pair bonding, we've always had a little bit of violence involved. and men tend to fight. And the one that wins the fight tends to get the women. So that's why men are bigger and stronger. Because we've always had an element, but not the same to the same extreme as the baboons. We've always kept a certain amount of pair bonding, because it's a genetic thing that's been bred into us, that if you've got two people working for the benefit of the children, then they've got a better chance of surviving.
Yeah, of course.
So yes, that's where that comes from.
Very good, very good.
Okay, so that's very interesting. And another interesting thing that came up was the word rally.
Rally, like in cars?
Like rally cars, yes.
Oh.
And believe it or not, rally is a very interesting word. So rally, people often think of rally cars, yeah. The reason it came up in conversation was to rally round your good friend. When you got a problem, your friends rally round. Okay, it means they come together to support you, is to rally round. Now, most people think of rally as the type of racing cars, rally cars, yeah. But really, it's a group of people, or a gathering of people. So that's why we have a political rally.
Oh yeah.
You know, when
when
elections are coming up and the politicians want to get more support, all of the people of the PP, for example, will meet in a big conference hall, and they wave their horrible plastic flags and sing their PP songs and stuff. Not PP, Pepe. Or PP, we can call them. So that's a political rally. And rally also has military context, like to rally the troops was to gather together all the soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
And rally round, they used to use rally round for rally round the flag. Because back in the Napoleonic days, if the enemy stole your flag, that was like the biggest insult to your regiment.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to protect the flag at all costs. So they used to rally round the flag. And that's why the family rallies round. If you're ill, for example, if someone goes to hospital and all the family go to show support and encouragement and say, come on, we'll have you home next week and all that, that is to rally round.
Okay, very good.
And of course, back in the days when a few people owned cars, car enthusiasts would meet to compare and say, look at my car. And then the obvious thing to do is to say, my car goes faster than your car. So it turned into races. But originally it was just the gathering of the people who had cars. So the family can rally round. And then it transferred a little bit to recovering as well. To recover from an illness was to rally round as well.
I see.
Yeah, it sort of transferred a little bit, because you can see sometimes in the news when there's a problem and in finance with the stock market, for example, they can say things like the stock market began to rally, meaning improve, get better. So that's an interesting word, rally.
Very good, very good.
And one last thing that we were talking about was the trolley problem, or the trolley dilemma.
Yeah, what is it then?
You don't know what that is? Originally it was a train problem. Let me explain it very briefly. In the first scenario, there's a train or a tram or another vehicle coming down the track. And on the track there are 4 people working and they don't know the train is coming.
Okay.
And they're all going to die, okay? But there's a lever and you can redirect the train onto another track. You can turn it onto another track. But on that track there's one person. And the dilemma is, do you pull the lever, and by doing so you save the 4 people's lives, but you kill one person?
Okay.
So you're responsible for killing a person.
Yeah, but you save 4.
You save 4. This is the dilemma. And apparently 90% of people say, I would pull the lever. Yeah. This is the logical thing to do. We know we're killing someone, but we're saving 4. So we can put up with that sacrifice, Now the second scenario is you're on a bridge standing next to someone. You can see further down the line that there's the 4 people again on the track. But the person that you're going to kill is next to you, and you have to push someone onto the track. And they'll kill the train will kill that person, but the train will stop before it reaches the 4 people.
Oh, I see.
And so that part of the scenario is, do you push the guy next to you onto the train, onto the track?
That's more difficult, isn't it? Because then you have to actually push the person.
Yes, there's actually physical contact, which makes a huge difference to most people.
Yeah.
And apparently only 10% of people would push the person.
That's very brave, though.
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
no?
Be braver if you jump on the track and sacrifice yourself.
Oh, well, that's not that option,
No, that's not one of the options. And I don't think anybody would do that. But only about 10%, I think, would push someone. Whereas 90% would pull the lever to redirect the train.
Yeah.
And then you can keep extending it. There are hundreds of different versions that you can invent of if you've got 4 old people and 2 teenagers, for example.
Okay, yeah.
And you can assess how we measure the value of people in society.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what society you live in. Like maybe here old people are not very valued, but in Japan they are. So maybe here they will sacrifice the old people for young people.
Well, that would be very interesting,
Japan maybe.
You think, because in Japan they have a lot of
respect.
Respect for their older people, So maybe they would sacrifice the teenagers, because they got but then again they got a lot of old people.
Yeah, that's true.
And not many teenagers,
that's true.
I don't know.
True. Yeah.
We need more research on that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure somebody's done the trolley problem around the world and compared statistics.
That'd be interesting to know.
And so earlier we were talking about the monarchy and the politicians. Yeah.
Are they in the tram?
They're on the line.
They are
on the line. That's another expression. To be on the line means to be like at risk, something that could disappear or something like that. My job is on the line. It means my job is at risk. I could lose my job. And it comes from something similar to a trolley problem. Anyway, one of the scenarios we were discussing on Thursday night in the Thursday group was, on one track you've got all of the monarchy and all of the politicians, but on the other track there's a small cat, a kitten, a little furry kitten. Are we going to save the monarchy and all the politicians, or are we going to save the kitten?
Let me guess.
That's right.
You saved the kitten.
We saved the kitten, yeah.
Very good, very good.
Well, he's got big eyes and a cute face, and we like the little kitten. But everyone decided that the monarchy and all the politicians could go. Anyway, so that's the trolley problem. It's very interesting, yeah.
Very good, very interesting.
So that's all we have to discuss on loyalty. Next week we're going to be discussing truth and lies. So I'm sure we're going to have lots of interesting conversations in the week, and we'll give you a summary again next Sunday. So don't forget to listen in next Sunday. And if you've got any comments on the things we've been talking about today, don't forget to leave them down below.
Yeah, see if they save the kitten or the monarchy, for example.
Yeah, kitten or monarchy? What do you think? Who would you save? Or the politician? Well, politicians. Discussing truth and lies next week. Maybe we'll talk about politicians. Oh, and the monarchy. Yeah, I'm sure they'll come back into the conversation again.
Yeah.
The little kitten would never lie. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And have a good week. Till next week.
Yeah. Bye.